You're gonna get killed! What God's hell are you?
What can you tell me about you, Klay? 'Cause I don't really know a whole lot about you aside from your connection to these SCP projects. But what's your background?
Yeah, so I went to film school at the Art Institute of Pittsburgh in 2006. I actually started in game design, and then about a year into it, I kind of, switched over to filmmaking. I like the storytelling and kind of that narrative aspect of that. Although I still have, a passion for video games, and maybe one day I would go back and do development. But for the most part, I liked the visual effects and storytelling of filmmaking. So that was kind of my draw to that. And then I had about a year left of school, and I was deployed to Iraq. So that was another kind of experience that lended itself to filmmaking, just with the real life experience of military knowledge and all that stuff. So that kind of is played in with the kind of content that I like to create. So but yeah, after that, and I finished school, I kind of got the first job I could that dealt with video editing and stuff, but it was corporate video, so it was kind of not the kind of work I wanted to do, but beggars can't be choosers. So yeah, that in part with I had 2 kids at the time, wife, and I needed something that was reliable, and that was kind of the thing. And then did a couple years of that, and then got a job at an ad agency doing more work that I kind of wanted to do with commercials and that kind of aspect. So and that's basically what I'm doing now, is full time working at an ad agency, doing editing, shooting, 3D VFX, that kind of stuff. So that, in short, that's kind of my background.
So how did you and Jason Posey come together to create this? What's like? I'm guessing it's the start of an ongoing series of short films regarding secure, contain, protect kind of creatures. Yeah.
So he contacted me, I want to say, in 2017, and was just reaching out because he knew my wife from high school. And somehow found me that I was doing, filmmaking stuff in Pittsburgh. He was still LA based, or he was living out in LA, which he still is now. But he, reached out to me, said I'd come back home every once in a while if you want to film something. Let's get a script together or something and just shoot it. And that was kind of how Site 22 became. It was just, really bare bones crew, and we did it in a morning to afternoon, and it kind of sprung into something what we're doing now with 096. So
what oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
What's the difference between Site 22 and the current project?
So Site 22 was kind of we didn't take an official SCP. We just kind of adapted something of our own. And I really love the SCP universe, so it was kind of natural to just make something based in it. Yeah, so I'm sorry. Go ahead and ask the question again.
What's the difference between the two? I mean, we know the Site 22 was very compact, just two guys in the woods with a creature. And what's the progression of that to 096?
Okay, yeah, so they actually have no relation to each other besides that this organization is around to just contain these anomalies. So this isn't directly like a continuation of that story. It's more so, well, here in the universe, in this point of time, this happens, and it kind of connects that way that this organization operates in a certain way, and it allows each story to kind of be self-contained. You don't have to keep basing it off of one character who continues, which you could do. You could, weave characters in and out of certain stories and stuff. But I think the draw is that each one is so different that it's kind of nice to approach each one as like its own movie.
As far as the creature goes, did you use an actual character from that catalog of user-created creatures from SCP, or is this an original creature that we're going to be seeing in 096?
096, it was an already concepted creature. The whole story has been, written, although what we're doing is we're kind of adapting in our own way, because the SCP universe kind of lends itself to its own, like, you can make your own canons. Like, there's different, everyone kind of has their own, like, theory on how, like, what operates in this universe, so, which is kind of cool because you can, just kind of have fun with taking where you want, but also not just being stuck to literally translating each thing.
I don't really want to spoil the upcoming movie, but what kind of creature is it that's going to appear in 096?
So 096, and you can kind of read the full details on the wiki page, but in essence, the creature is a humanoid. I'm trying to, without getting specifically, on, like, its height is like 2.5 meters tall, I believe. His arms are extremely long, like, and disproportionate. He's very skinny. He looks malnourished. He's got no pigment in his skin color. But the main thing about the creature is that no one can ever see its face without it becoming enraged and finding you, whoever has seen it, and, killing him.
The creature itself in the short film, is it going to be CGI, or is it going to be practical creature effects?
It's going to be CGI, just because of making that kind of prosthetic would require more of a budget than we have. But we're doing it in a way that the audience will never see its face, just to keep in that, like, kind of lore that, the only images that exist of it now are artist renditions. They're, they'll show a prisoner, which is their D class. They'll show a picture of that they've acquired by just randomly taking pictures and then showing it to these prisoners to see which image actually captures its face, and then they tell them to draw the picture. Mm-hmm. So that they have an idea of, like, actually what it looks like, but it's still never, and, like, no one's ever really seen its face.
In this short film, are we following a specific character's journey with this creature, or are we just watching events unfold?
So we're basing the film off of the article 096-alpha-096-1-alpha. Sorry, I got that mixed up. So it's a log that reads kind of the interview of the doctor who's in charge of, like, researching 096, and the interview of the higher-ups in the SCP Foundation, kind of investigating why this breach happened. And they start to find and kind of piece parts together that something bigger was happening that led to its breach. So we do kind of follow the main doctor, who is Dr. Daniels. We follow his his interrogation, and then we kind of start unfolding events, like we start cutting to thermal satellite imagery. We cut to which we've already shot one day of shooting through night vision from the team that's tasked out to recapture the creature. So there's going to be action. I mean, there's going to be the drama of the interrogation. So more things are going to happen than just this interrogation of the doctor. It'll be fun, though.
How many days left do you still have to shoot?
We have probably about 3 left of 2 of the interrogation and another of a pickup location. So we still have a little bit, and it's mostly once we got in all of these moving parts. It's just been so difficult to get everything lined up. But everything is, I mean, with the first day of shooting, that was probably our hardest as far as like lining everything up, weather cooperating. We were filming at night, and all the things that could go wrong didn't, thankfully. So we got that out of the way. So the rest of it should be smooth sailing, and then post-production.
How long are you anticipating post-production to take? Do you think you'll get the film out by the end of this year, or are you projecting next year?
I am projecting by the end of the year. I would love for it to be out by November, but you know how things happen and things can get pushed. But I would definitely say by the end of the year.
I was checking out your YouTube channel yesterday, and I saw that you were doing live streams. One of them was called 096. Is that you live streaming animation of the creature itself?
Yeah, that was mostly before we had a solid cast and locations. I was concepting just the creature and kind of exploring different scenarios that I wanted to put the creature in. Most of it was just playing around, which you can kind of find in the comments. A lot of people are just throwing out suggestions on like making 096 dance or make them dab and stuff like that. So a lot of it was just kind of waiting for the funds to come through and making sure things were actually going to line up. So it was very early pre-production stuff.
Since you've been working on this project, have you had a chance to check out the game that was recently released by Remedy Studios called Control?
I do remember seeing a trailer for that. I need to go back and look at that. When did it release?
I believe it was just last week. At least that's when I picked it up. But yeah, I think it's a recent release within the past couple of weeks.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll need to check that out because I do remember seeing that. And I was really intrigued. So.
Yeah, it borrows a lot from SCP lore. It doesn't specifically name anything SCP, but a lot of the items. It's more item based than it is creature based, but there's a lot of things in there that you could see, like a possessed refrigerator or possessed TV or stuff like that. But they call them objects of power, and they have to be contained inside this building. But the building is constantly in flux because of the amount of paranormal power that's accumulated.
Yeah.
So, but there were a few things in there that reminded me of Site 22, and so I mentioned this to Jason as well if he had picked it up and looked at it. So.
I'm definitely going to need to pick that up.
Yeah. So part of the article that's going to go along with this interview is should you check out Site 22 and should you check out Control? So.
Yes. Yeah. It sounds like Control's right up my alley, so I'm gonna check that out.
Where can people see Site 22 since it's been out since, I believe, last year?
Site 22 is on my YouTube page. That is, I believe, the only place it's been that I'm aware of.
That you've authorized.
Yeah. Yeah, it has been, because of the licensing for SCP content, anyone can rip it and re-upload it, and as long as they give credit, I technically really can't do anything. I know it has been re-uploaded and translated into Chinese or Mandarin, and that's cool. I mean, I'm okay with it if people want to, spread it, and that's cool by me.
My final question is, will Site 22 be making any more rounds in the film festival circuit?
I don't believe so. I think we're going to focus everything in on 096 now. I feel like Site 22 is just kind of that, that exercise before you do something bigger. 096, I feel like we're really stepping up the game, and I think I just want to concentrate everything on it.
All right. Well, Klay, thank you very much for talking to me today. And probably the most important thing is where can people find you? What's your YouTube channel? Social media handles, all that good stuff.
Yeah, my for the most part, you can find, if you want to go on YouTube, it's youtube.com/Mr. Klay, I believe. I don't think it's changed. And then Instagram is @Mr. Klay.